Yo yo, what's Gucci dog? I am so terribly sorry. That was me trying to be cool, but welcome back to my channel and to our second tutorial video on Java. In the last video, I explained that this is just the beginning tutorials, teaching you the basics. It might seem a little monotonous and simple that a third grader could do it, but trust me, when you get into more complicated code, you're gonna need to know all the basics. But we'll start off with creating a new project. So we'll right click, new, Java project. We'll name it project 2. And I'd also like to apologize for the terrible audio quality and my extremely loud keyboard. I do not yet have a mic, so if you guys can bear with me, I promise I'll teach you something, but for now we're gonna have to bear with it. I hope you guys can hear me. I thought the audio quality was at least decent in the last video, but I don't know how it is for you guys. If you can't, feel free to comment and I'll try and do something about that until I can get around to getting a microphone. But, yeah, I'm sorry. So we have the new project created. Right now we'll right click, go to new, class, and we'll make a class. We'll just call it class. And here we go. So right now we want to just make another main method, so public static void main string open close bracket args. And now we're going to go over, in this video at least, data types. Now in Java there's a couple different data types ranging from int to double to boolean and string. Now I'll go over what each of these are, but we'll start off with int. So with an int, it's all lowercase letters when you're defining a data type. So the data type we're going to start off with, as I said, is int. And after you initialize the int data type, you want to initialize a variable along with it. So we'll do day equal to 7. 7 days in a week, easy enough. Now an int can only hold a whole number. And so let's say we wanted to do 7.2. It gives you an error. Type mismatch, cannot convert from double to int. Now basically the problem with this is it's a decimal, and ints can only hold a whole number. Now if you wanted to store a decimal, you'd use something called a double. Once again, lowercase letters. Double, decimal equal to 7.2. And this works because a double is used, on the other hand, to store a decimal. Thus the name decimal. Thought it was fitting. But yeah, if you want to store a int, you'd use if you want to store a whole number, you use an int. If you want to store a decimal, you'd use a double. Easy enough. Might seem complicated at first, but you get the hang of it after a while. And let's say you want to store a word or a phrase. You'd use the char data type. Char will do initial, and we'll set it equal to. And when you're initializing a char, you want to use the single little apostrophe. And we'll set it equal to J for Java. Now with a char, it's just the long or shortened version of character. And you can only store one single character in a char variable. If you wanted to store something like an actual phrase, you'd use something called a string. So string name equal to Alex. Now when you're storing a string, on the other hand, you want to use the actual double quote. It's weird, I don't know why it's like that, but let's say we put the single quote, it would give you an error. So let's switch that back to the double quote, and it works. Now when storing a string, it can store a whole phrase, so you can do multiple words if you wanted to. Alex is the man! Exclamation point. Now a string can also store any symbol in Java, or the English language, or any language. So just to show you guys, we'll do a bunch of different weird little things, and a character can as well. It's just the problem that it can only store one at a time. So we have an asterisk, percent, money sign, hashtag, YOLO. But yeah, but the one problem with a string, there's not a problem, it's just the way that the program reads the string, is that if you wanted to have another quote within your string, it would give you an error. Now the reason for that is that this first quote opens up the string, and the last quote closes it. But the problem is that it takes the second to last quote and thinks it's the last quote, so that's where it ends it. And then you just have this one little open quotation that would set this end little semicolon to another string, which screws up the program, because if you look here, string literal is not properly closed by a double quote. So this sets this to a string value, and we don't want that. And we also want the quotation within the program, so to set that to read the quotation, we want it to have a backslash. Now the reason that works is that it won't put a backslash in your string. It'll take this, and then say that there is a quotation after the backslash. Because when, as I've said, if you have a quotation and another quotation, it'll end it, and we have that last one. So we want it to read just this last quotation as the ender, and then this quotation within the string. So yeah, simple enough. And the last data type we'll go over today is a Boolean. Another funny name. So Boolean daytime equal to, and a Boolean can only be set to either true or false. I don't really use them that much, but as I've said, I'm a beginner to programming. I mean, Java is my most advanced language, so I know more about that than anything else, but I haven't used it much. I can only assume that if you're doing a more advanced program, then you definitely use this at some point. But for the sake of the video, I'll show you guys how it works. So Boolean would be the data type. The variable would be daytime. You'll set that equal to. It's nighttime here, so false. And that's pretty much it for data types. Pretty simple to get the hang of. It's like a language. I mean, nobody's born speaking a language. Like, nobody's born knowing programming code. So it just takes time and effort and the will to do it. I know it seems really monotonous and boring at first, but when you get the hang of it, it's actually, I don't really sound like that nerdy guy, but fun. I mean, you can make really advanced programs that, I mean, coming from a hello world perspective, seem really interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll give you little examples of, I showed you guys system output in the last video, so we'll go over that again a little bit. System.out.print. And we'll print day. Now you can either, when you're printing a phrase, you can have quotations and you can print the phrase. And that'll print. Always save. Yeah, as I went over in the last video, it can auto-save for you, or you can save it yourself, but yeah, this is how it auto-saves it. So always save resources before launching, okay. And right here, it'll print that little phrase right there. But let's say we wanted to print one of these variables. We'll type system.out.println, alright, basically print, as you'll see, I'll demonstrate it right now. So print, we'll print day. Now, print basically just prints it like so. So phrase 7, there's no space, there's no second line, it's just phrase and then 7. A computer only tells you, or only does what you tell it to, so you have to treat it like a little kid in retrospect, or as an example. So if you don't tell it that there's a space, it won't put a space. If you don't tell it to have a new line, it won't add a new line. So let's say you want to wanted to add a space, you could do just a space right there. Run it again, it'll do a space. let's say you wanted to add the space in there. You could just do phrase plus. Basically, what a plus does in a argument is it adds two values together. So we'll do plus the space, and it'll add the space to the phrase, and then print this. So if we look again, there's no space there, but we have a space here, and we're adding the space to the print statement. So it prints the space, and then 7. But let's say you wanted to print that on a new line. What you do is, we'll just get rid of that. I mean, I wouldn't really notice it, but for the sake of being neat. Let's say you want to print a new line. You'd simply print line. It's just ln, and it basically stands for line. Pretty self-explanatory. And this will print it on one line, but this will print it on a new line. Or no. Sorry, no. You'd want to print it right here. This will print and complete the line, and this will print it on a new line. Basically, if we were to have it, I'll print this first just to show you what it looks like. This prints it on one line, this prints it on another. But if we were to have it vice versa, the way this would work is it would be like that, because this finishes off the line. So it'd print that, and then it'd print this, and then it'd print a new line. And it'd start, let's say, system.out.print line. And then phrase sentence. Sorry for my spelling, it is almost 10:30 at night here. I'm trying to get this video done, so I'm not in my best right now. But if we print this, it'll print phrase 7 and then sentence on a new line. So if you can understand what I mean, this simply just ends off the line. So if we wanted to print day on a new line, we just put the print line before this. You can also have the print line on here, and it'll print sentence on a new line. So if we run this now, phrase 7 sentence, that would do the same. And let's say you want to print another data type or variable, you just input the name of the variable in here. Decimal. Print that, and then I'll print the decimal. If you want to, we'll just copy and paste this for saving time. System out print name and initial. You can print this a bit. If you print this, it'll basically just tell you if it's true or false. So I'll show you guys that now. Day, time, and we'll run this. Oh, let's just add a little line to there, make it a little cleaner. Line and a line. So let's run this again. Sorry about that. You have phrase. You have the data type day. You have decimal, the double data type. You have the string. Alex is the man, and a lot of that unnecessary. Oh, here's what I mean. So you have this little thing telling it to add that quote, and it doesn't show this or this, but it shows that last quote because we have the little backslash in that telling us to add the quote. So you can see that one little quote right there. You have car, the initial, the data type car, equal to the hashtag, which prints right there, and then you have daytime equal to false, and it prints what it's equal to. So that's data type summed up. I hope you guys learned something from this, and if not, please just comment and I'll try and specify a few things in the next video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be up with another video sometime soon. Goodbye.